All right, race fans, welcome once again to MaxSpeedTV. Everyone is getting here to the track. Before we get to all of that, as always, we want to welcome you to the broadcast. Another late broadcast, but we're here nevertheless. This is the Northwest Truck Series presented by Sanctuary Studios. So again, we did 40 laps last Thursday night. Today we are doing the first actual points race here for this Northwest Truck Series. 80 laps here at Daytona as you see some drivers coming out on to the track now. Before we get into all of that, an introduction of the other commentators here with us, we want to make sure we go through all the sponsors that are on board here tonight. Of course, simspeedshop.com. Make sure you check them out on Facebook and on their website for some great Sims items like button boxes, stuff like that. HRE Motorsports, and of course Elite 7 Racing, two teams that help us do what we do best here on Max Speed TV. Virtual2reality.tv. You know what? We have some codes, so we might give one of those away here tonight after the broadcast. Dirtco Media House, they help us stream to Facebook as well as here on YouTube. So big shout out to them for doing that. And our newest sponsor on board, Ohio IndyCar League. Make sure you check them out if you are in the Ohio club. They have some great IndyCar racing, so definitely go check them out and get into that league. Again, on the racing side of things, obviously Sanctuary Studios, the title sponsor for the Northwest Truck Series. So big shout out to them for jumping on board. But we are just about ready here to get things going in about 15 minutes. But we do want to introduce the other two commentators here tonight. First off, KR Stolfus, he was here last week, so welcome back. And Rudy, you've done this league before. You're back here with us tonight. So we have three of us in the booth, so welcome to both of you. And how are you doing tonight?
Rudy, I'll let you start.
All right.
Age before beauty.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good. It's good to be back with these guys. You know, these guys they really are a good bunch of guys, and I've missed them. And they put on some great races, so it's good to be back in the booth here calling a race for them.
You know, I had a great experience last Thursday with the practice run. Learned a whole lot as far as broadcasting, so I look forward to getting a good broadcast out tonight and delivering 120%.
Yeah, definitely. We actually have some new things here for the fans out there tonight. Normally we do the national anthem right at the end of qualifying, but we need all the time we can get there because we want to know who's qualifying where. So a little bit change of plans how we're going to do it here tonight. It's going to be right at the beginning of qualifying, like Rudy normally does it. We're going to get to the national anthem. We will come back to finish qualifying. And we have four drivers here tonight. Jeff Stabnow, Mark Walls, John Ottenbacher, and Sean Brightsman. Those four drivers, they are running some of the sponsors here. John Ottenbacher and Sean Brightsman running the highway onboard camera here tonight. And Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow running the new leader cam, onboard cam. So throughout the night, we'll go on board with those guys. Again, those are some sponsors here in the league, so definitely we'll go on board with those throughout the night and let you see their logo, talk about them there a little bit. So a little bit different than we're normally. We do have some onboard camera sponsors. So KR, you were here last week. We saw some great racing. Rudy, back when you were doing them, what was the racing like then? Did they have as many cars, or have they grown since then?
Well, they've grown a little bit. We usually had about 15 cars back then, but now I see we've got quite a bit more. So I think it's going to probably change up a little bit of the style of racing out here. But I'll tell you what, there's a few guys out here you really got to watch out for. Mark Walls, Jeff Stabnow, these guys are really awesome. Sean Brightsman, he is really awesome too. So, those guys you got to watch out for. Now, some of these new guys that have come in, I'm not too sure about. But keep an eye on Kip Leo and these guys that are really good. Tom Green, Doug Hunt. I've seen these guys race before. Chris Sherburne, he's another good one. Carl Burke. Carl Burke's always good everywhere he goes. And Andy Voigt the same way. We've seen Andy do some fantastic racing here when I was broadcasting with him before. So they've got a good team worked up here.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be some great racing. Like I said, at 40 laps, we saw some great racing. I saw some wrecks right at the finish of the race, so ended very, very awesome. Like again, I do expect to see that again here. But last week, it was all about points, or all about no points really. It was all about the win. Tonight, it's all about points. So, KR, you're the driver of the mix here. Going from a non-points race to a points race, how much of a mindset change does that know, going that you're just there for the win versus you're here to get a good finish?
I have found that typically if I go into a non-points race as a practice session, it's a good time to learn every driver that's around you. So you want to treat it as if it's an actual race event. So I wouldn't say that there's a whole lot of difference. It's just a very large learning experience, and if you make a mistake, it doesn't really hurt you. So you might try one or two things, maybe run a little bit closer to a new driver you've never met, and see how he handles it. Outside of that, I would try and keep it the same though, and not let it have any different mindset, per se.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. And we've talked to you, Rudy, before coming here last week, and we've talked to the drivers too. You've seen some big ones here. I mean, if you're going to have a big wreck, it's Talladega, Daytona. That's where it's going to happen. So, based on your past experience, do you expect to see at least one big one here tonight that'll take 5 or more cars out of this race?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think it's pretty much a given. Everybody realizes that when they come here, the racing starts ramping up, about halfway through the race, and you're going to see probably in the second half of the race, the guys really ramping up, working together a little bit more. It's going to be a lot tighter racing, and the guys are going to be taking chances that they haven't all race long. They've, that's super speedway racing that these guys know that when you get out here, there's going to be a big one. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to see if there is one, what lap it happens on. We've watched them in practice, and we haven't seen a whole lot of wrecking there. But then again, that's groups of 3 and 4, like you see right now that we're watching. You add 30 cars, 2 and 3 wide. That changes the ball game just a little bit. You mess up one little bit, get out of line, get a little loose, and it could spell disaster for a lot of people here tonight.
Sorry, Rudy, we saw a lot of cars as there's a wreck on the front stretch. We saw a lot of cars last week running that high side line, trying to get the momentum going, and it just never really seemed to pan out like you would expect it to, or I expected it to. So I'm curious to see which line's going to be the fastest tonight.
Yeah, that one thing about this track that I have noticed now, something that I do like a little bit better for the trucks, and I think is a lot more exciting, is if they ran the old Daytona. The bottom is really, really rough on the old Daytona, and it makes the high line a little bit better in the turns. It's a lot smoother, and it makes it faster. It makes for a little bit better racing. But when you get to the newer surface here on this new Daytona, it's pretty much smooth all the way around. The bottom's not nearly as rough. It's repaved, and the fast line is in the turns is faster on the bottom, but on the exit of turns, the upper line usually takes over. So I look for it to be a decent race, a good race for everybody out here tonight. The competition is really good. There's a few new drivers in it. Watch out for John Ottenbacher. There's another one I completely forgot about. Dan Stussy. These guys are top-notch drivers, so keep an eye out for them. And I know John Ottenbacher just won a couple of seasons ago when I was over here broadcasting, so he's definitely a past champion here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we saw them last week here at the same track. 40 more laps tonight, so we're gonna see how fuel and tires wear here tonight. And with this type of racing, with pack racing like this, track position is key. You want to have good track position, but at the same time, if you can pair up with somebody or get a group of 3-4 trucks in a row, you can gain a lot of positions very quickly. So even if you're back in, say, 15th, 16th, in the top 10, somewhere around there, doesn't mean you're going to be there for long. If you get a good group of guys, you could very well be in the top 5 in a lap or two.
Well, one thing I was going to point out, KR, is we know Charles is top notch when it comes to calling dirt races. We're going to convert him to asphalt calling, I'm telling you.
Charles does a great job on the dirt. I definitely think he's a very good job there. But asphalt, I'm not sure he even understands what asphalt is except for how to get to the racetrack.
That is true. They say dirt's for racing, asphalt's for getting there. So I will stand by that statement till the day I die. But they do put on some great racing here on asphalt too.
The truck series is really a great series to be in any league or iRacing official, because it is kind of a under horsepowered car for the big tracks that it runs. So it teaches you to keep the car straight, drive it as smooth as possible, and really minimize your mistakes.
Yeah, and I agree. What were you fixing to say, Rudy?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think we're going to work over you to get you switched over back over to asphalt racing, because I'll tell you, I've seen, don't get me wrong, I've seen some great dirt races, some really, really awesome ones that get you pumped up and excited, but I've seen some asphalt races that are mind-blowing, ones that will just curl the hair on the back of your neck. They've just been so good, so it's a little of both, and you got to kind of mix it in a little bit and get used to it. But you'll like it after you do it for you.
Yeah, definitely. And we're sitting here looking at around 31 drivers here, and we very well could see a few more. So that's one thing that you don't see in dirt racing is 30, 40 cars on the track. It doesn't happen. You can't fit them on the track. It would be a total nightmare if you did. You might as well call it a demolition derby at that point. But, 30 to 43 cars on this asphalt track, it's a huge track, 2.5 miles. So like you're saying, I've done a lot of dirt. That's 2 miles longer than the average dirt track that I broadcast. So it is a totally different ball game. I do have a little experience with asphalt, so hopefully I'm not too out of place here. But with these guys in this big of a track, it's going to be from exciting racing here in about 4 minutes.
Guys, you do the calling. I'm just going to be here for some kind of backup, and I'll kind of keep you posted on any accidents or anything I see. You guys do the calling. KR, you don't worry about me. You just do what you got to do, man.
Well, Rudy, I will say I'm a little worried about you because I burned you pretty good in your DSRL broadcast.
Burned me good.
Yeah. Burned you so bad you already forgot about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't forget.
I just gotta watch you with that knife you're holding while you prepare a sandwich.
All right.
Anyways,
you guys just go right on ahead. Don't worry about me.
Well, that being said, KR, we asked you this last week, and we'll get your opinion on this too, Rudy, because we definitely want to know your thoughts. Do you have any favorites here in the race right now for who could possibly get a win here? I mean, times, you can't really base it off that, but from past watching last week, and then Rudy, you based off of last season that you did them, do you have anyone that you think is probably the standout car here to come away with the win?
Well, I don't really want to, pick somebody and try to play favoritism over another driver or anything. But there's about 3 or 4 that really stand out. But you know what? If I had to pick somebody out of all of them, I would have to pick Mark Walls. Mark knows how to get to victory lane. He's been there many times. And he's a very, very tough competitor. He will race you right to the bitter end, right to the checkered flag. So I would have to go with Mark Wall.
All right, KR, do you have a pick here tonight?
You know, I'm going to go with the easy choice. Last week's practice race winner, Jeff Stabnow. And I say it tongue-in-cheek, he's a league admin, so he can, you know, get everybody potentially a penalty to do so. But it's tongue-in-cheek. He did a great job last week. Never put a tire wrong as he fended off challenges behind him and all kinds of other stuff. Really impressed me from what I saw from him. So I'm going to have to go with Jeff Stabnow. And just in the simple fact of he won in the practice race, and the way he did so really just stuck in my head as he did a great job of controlling the field around him.
Yeah, he definitely did do that. He he put a good show there together. Again, he kind of already had the race wrapped up last week anyway. And then going on that last lap, we saw the second and third get together. Obviously, at that point, white flag was out. Caution wasn't going to come out. And he just kind of coasted to the victory. It was in the last probably 200, 300 feet of the line. So he pretty much assured himself at that point. But we'll definitely be watching him here tonight. And I'm going to keep an eye right there on the 23, David Applegate. I picked him last week and ended up getting wrecked out a little early. But still rooting for the Intel truck, you know. I've never been a Intel fanboy, but after my experience with the AMD, I definitely would say that I have jumped to the blue side. So hopefully tonight he will have a little bit better night than he did last week and come away with a win possibly.
Applegate definitely struggled in the practice. Got the truck, made it look like a wadded up soda can before the checkered flag flew. So if he crashes again, we're gonna have to tell you quit picking him because you're hurting his race.
Yeah, if he wrecks out, I'll definitely stop picking him. Maybe if I predict he'll wreck, he'll probably get the win. We don't want to jinx anyone here, and hopefully that does not happen. But it looks like practice is over. They're getting ready for qualifying now. So again, we got plenty of drivers to go through, so we're going to step away for just a moment here. Before we get to qualifying, they have 10 minutes. We'll go through all of that. But we're going to get to our national anthem real fast, and we will be right back after that.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. Qualifying is underway, and already looking like we see some great times out here as we'll go check in with first place here. Brandon Peters, Fastest time right now, 50.016. Definitely not the times we saw in practice. They're running 46-second laps. But again, that was with a group. This is, I don't remember if I think it's open qualifying. That might not be. Maybe lone qualifying. Based on times, I would imagine it is. And I don't see any of the cars with him. So, slower times, but doesn't mean they're slow by any means. Definitely, just by yourself, you're going to be a lot slower. So, on that side of things, we will see faster laps. So, Rudy, you've been here. KR, you're a driver. What's it like going around this track?
Man, I'll tell you, the thing about this track is it's so big. Your truck is essentially underpowered, especially with the restrictor plate in it. To get your fast lap, it takes you a lap and a half to really get this car or truck up to full song, and you run the high side for your warm-up lap and then your first green flag lap, and then you pull it down into the bottom right along that yellow line, and you do not want to come up that yellow line. Keep that wheel nice and straight, hold it tight to that line, and you do that for one whole lap, and then you just hope that you did it better than anyone else and get to start on the pole, because if you can start up front, you can control your destiny here at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like Mark Walls just took the fastest time with a 49.563. So we've had 3 people so far hit the 49-second lap, and that was Mark Walls, Brandon Peters, and John Ottenbacher in that order. Again, we were just talking about John Ottenbacher with Rudy, and he said he will be a fierce person here to compete with, and Mark Walls. So both of those drivers putting in very good times. So obviously Rudy is still fresh with this league. He knows who's going to be fast, and they're not disappointing here.
Oh no, they're, and I always say, if you can get under that 50-second mark, then you're holding a steady line. You're doing just exactly what KR says. You got to ride that yellow line all the way around. Now there is a specific line that you do want to hold that you don't necessarily have to hold it on the bottom, on the back, on the back stretch. But when you come out of turn 4, you better have it right down there on that yellow line, getting ready to cross the yellow or the stripe to get the fastest lap out of there. So I know a lot of guys that have qualified very well here at Daytona and Talladega, the super speedways, and they don't run that bottom all the way around. They actually come up off the corner, let the car go, let it be free. Instead of holding it down there, you're scrubbing speed off,
Yeah.
And they can rock out some fast laps. Now you look at the times there between Mark Walls and 5th place. Okay, that's less than 1/10 of a second. So these guys, there's a lot of guys now turning in under 50-second mark there. But when you go back to 15th place, that's almost a full second. Now a full second doesn't seem like a lot of time, but 1 second out there on the track is a lot. If you're a second behind, you're losing the draft. So you definitely don't want to be a second behind.
And like we were talking about earlier, a second now, if you lose that draft because you're a second slower now, when they start getting 48s, down to 46-second laps, then you're like up to 4 or 5 seconds off. And at that point, you're going to go a lap down probably within 10 laps very easily.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're going to see at least 10-mile-an-hour difference when you're by yourself than if you're in the draft. These trucks now are almost reaching 200 miles an hour in the draft. They're real close to the Gen 6 speed. They're like 196, 197. I think I even seen 198 the other night in the draft.
Yeah, they are definitely very fast. As speaking of fast, last week's winner put in a fast time. Jeff Stabnow, 4th fastest. So that will put him outside row 2. So that's going to be a good starting position for him to try to duplicate last week and see if he can't get yet another win here, this time for points battle. So hopefully, with any luck, he can come away with the win. I know KR was having a blast in the booth last week. Again, Rudy had to go hit the hay a little early to get up and build his new PC for the new parts he got, but we had a blast. Just in the last lap, we had a wreck, and then coming to the line, we had another wreck. So we had 2 wrecks on the white flag lap, took out some cars, but that did ensure Jeff Stabnow's win. So he keeps telling us that was his one win for 2 years here, but it doesn't look like he's that slow here tonight.
Oh, don't let him kid you. Don't let him kid you. He likes to make that up a little bit. He's pretty good. Jeff's no slouch when it comes to this, and that probably wasn't his first time in victory lane.
I do like the fact that Jeff, I like to kid that he's league admin, but I stand by what I said last week. I saw him really control the cars around him. He controlled his space very well, and he never panicked and ended up in victory lane.
Yeah, smoothness is a key here. Keeping that truck, very steady. Don't wiggle, don't bobble around, don't weave around, because you're going to get into somebody and cause the big one, and we don't want to see that here tonight. We want to see 80 green flag laps and let them battle it out at the end.
Yeah, definitely I would agree with that. Nobody wants to see the big one. That is definitely not what you want to see. As it looks like we got about 40 seconds left here in qualifying, so next up is the race. So once we get to the grid, KR, if you want to go through that starting lineup for us, that would be great. And we'll go, again, we got some new features we'll show you here after the grid is announced. So that is coming up here in just a minute. And not sure what the 15, Chris Sherburne just kind of driving around the track, coasting around. Looks like he's going to pull it into pit road here, as that will do it for qualifying with 2 seconds left. So, you ready for another exciting race there, KR?
I tell you what, I'm super excited. I got my computer all set up just the way I want it. I got my beverage of choice over here. I have a hot dog from the concession stand, and yeah, I'm ready to get this done.
All right, well, they indeed are getting to pit road here, so that being said, if you want to run through our HRE Motorsports starting a lineup, we will get this show going.
All right, your quick time, your pole sitter, Ryan Main's going to be in first. John Freeberg second, starting front row outside, second row inside, Carl Burke, and everything is moving around on me.
Yeah, I was going to say it should have been... All
right, you know what? Mark Waltz, Brandon Peters, front row. Second row is Sean Breitzman and Jeff Stabnow starting fourth. Fifth is Matt Henry and John Ottenbacher sixth. Next row of Joshua Cushman and Jason Swank. Andy Vogt and Ryan Maines. There he is. He's 10th. David Heath and Steve Selestad is 12th. Corey Walters and Tom Green 14th. 15th is Trenton Barrington and Jason Hunt. 17th is Sean Freeberg, Doug Hunt, and again, these Hunt brothers, it's 2 brothers and a father, if I remember correctly. We'll be seeing a lot of them. 19th is Ray Forner and Gerald Heffley in 20th. 21st is Carl Burke and Kip Leo, 22nd. Mike Peterson, 23rd. Chris Sherburne, 24th. Chris White, 25th. 26th, Gary Nichols. Dana Rogers, 27th. Brad Cornell, 28th. Joe Bissett, 29th. And Ricky Bozer, 30th. 31st is your pick of David Applegate, and 32nd would be Dan Stussy.
And that will do it here for the lineup. So, again, very interesting, my pick down. I don't even think he took a qualifying lap, but we do have 2 laps here. So what we want to show you now is something new we are working on here at MaxSpeedTV. And again, we have 4 drivers that are participating in this tonight, and we will have more that we'll go through throughout the racing here. But getting it to the first one, it is actually your pulsar here, Mark Walls, as we'll go on board with him. He is running our new leader onboard cam here tonight. Again, a big shout out to him for doing that. Jeff Stabnow, if we look starting in 4th, he's the wrong one there. Well, there is another one of them in 4th as they're kind of trading spots there. Sean Brightsman running a highway onboard camera here tonight. So these guys are right up there towards the front. All of them are. Jeff Stabnow running another new leader sponsored onboard cam. And the other one that is here, so there he is. We'll get to him. 6th place right now, John Ottenbacher. So all of our onboard cams right now in the top 10. So this could be a very interesting. Again, we'll keep an eye on all 4 of these, and go from occasionally here we'll go on board with these guys. It looks like we're getting ready here for the start of this race.
It's going to be very exciting. Things are going to happen quick when they do. Cars are going to be wiggling. Keep in mind, these guys are going really fast, riding next to each other a few inches apart at times.
Or indeed, the green flag is out. Again, it's not a very fast start, but again, these trucks and even the cup cars, they take a while to get going to speed, but right now they're pretty much double file just how they were all the way back thus far. So no major moves yet going on. As we look throughout the fields here, we'll take a little bit wider angle here. Not a whole lot going on. You see the 24 of Jeff Stabnow taking it to the bottom. He's going to leave the 5 of Brandon Peters kind of out to dry now, as the 95 is going to get by him as well.
Guys, I just wanted to point out, back here in the back, we see there's 3 guys, David Applegate, Dan Stussy, and Carl Burke. These guys have been through the ups and downs of super speedway racing. They know, give themselves a little bit of cushion between them and the front runners, and they're going to stay right there, close. They don't want to go a lap down if they can help it, but they want to stay clear in case the big one happens, that they can get braked, in time.
Yeah, definitely.
I was getting ready to point that out. The 23, David Applegate, he is riding around in the back along with the 78. Those guys will probably work together and just wait for the first caution before they really start making moves.
Yeah, and I was looking right ahead of them while you were saying that. We're talking about them guys being cautious back there. If you look, it's the 20, Joseph Bissett getting in, Brad Cornell and Ricky Bozer getting there. They were 3 wide at a second, so they are already trying to make this 3 wide, and we're only on lap 3 right now.
The 3 wide racing is going to be happening a lot here at Daytona, and especially since this is the repaved Daytona. These guys don't really have a lot of fear going into the corners. The car is going to be very stable. It will allow the illusion that most drivers can pull off a 3 wide, and eventually it's going to cost somebody big.
Yeah, definitely. Looking the back here up the front, Mark Walls is the only one to have led a lap, and this is kind of strange. We did not hear from race control yet how the points work. We'll know more after this race. If they get a bonus point for leading the most laps. So right now you really want to bide your time. You don't want to press any issues, but at the same time, if you're looking up the front, if you're Sean Brightsman right now and you're looking at Mark Walls, you don't want him to take off and just lead 60 of these laps before and lead the most laps and get that bonus point. You want to get up to the front, but at the same time, up in the front, and I'm sure Rudy and KR, you would both agree with this. When you're out at the front in a restrictor plate race or a fast track like this, you kind of have a huge target on your back. Everybody wants to come up to the front and get that lead from you.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're the sitting duck out there. You're the one that everybody wants. Now I'm watching Jason Hunt here falling quickly. He's out of the draft. He's up on the high side by himself. Nobody to work with because everybody on the bottom is just powering by him that are in the draft. So he's dropped a lot of positions. He started 16th, he's back to 22nd, and still falling.
He actually got into the wall coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, the interesting too is he has Doug Hunt in here with him. I don't see the third Hunt family member, but Doug Hunt is in 18th place, and he's fallen all the way to 29th now. So he has lost at least 10 spots here, and his biggest helper, obviously being a teammate and family member, is well in front of him. So he has nobody to work with right now, unless David Applegate will work with him, just ahead of him in 29th right now.
I think that damage is causing him a lot of speed right now, because he's only reaching about 184, 185, and you look up at David Applegate, he's hitting about 194 right now. So he's already 10 mile an hour off the pace, and he's going to start dropping like a rock.
Yeah, and I just looked there for a split second. Joseph Bissett in the 96, I'm not sure where he came from, if he may have spun out or something, but he came from, if you look on the backstretch here, there's that pavement that's back there outside of the racing area. He came from way down there and shot back onto the track out of nowhere. So I am not sure where he came from, but he is back on the racing surface just ahead of Jason Hunt, and it looks like Ricky Bozer in the 48 was blinking, and he is out of the race.
An early exit for him, and I did see the car go flashing through that heavy paved area. It was a good thing it was paved, otherwise he would have found a lot harder things to hit than the grass.
Yeah, definitely. And while we were doing that, I jumped back up here to the front, guys. There is actually a uprise coming here, led by the 24. The 24, Jeff Stabnow. He has kind of built up a group here. Surprisingly enough, leaving the 29 out there. They're running the same paint jobs nearly here. Same sponsors by new leader. But again, he's raised up a coup, or whatever you want to call it here, and he's making a charge for lead on the outside with 3 to 4 cars.
Stabnow definitely working that outside. He's getting some help from the 5 of Brandon Peters. These guys need to really form up and start running really close to each other on the outside. And you'll see as Stabnow gets clear, he might, as he clears the leader of Mark Waltz with that outside lane, he might pull down in front of Waltz, or he might stay up there and pull the second car in that outside lane along with him and let there be enough space that both trucks can pull down.
Yeah, and Rudy, you have a little more experience with the super speedway stuff. It seems like to me, in my observation and opinion here of this outside lane, it doesn't seem like that outside lane is being, it looks like they might be now anyway, but they're not staying together bumper to bumper. They're not forming up well enough to try to make a actual valid run for the lead here.
You are exactly right, because if those you need about 6 trucks up there on the high side to work. You got to stay right in line. You can't weave around and get out of line, and they need to be down a little bit closer to that inside to get some side draft off of them too. And that outside line could get by, but they've got to work very, very hard to get together to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to see back. You got the 089 of John Ottenbacher. He's back there trying to push the 5 and the 24 to see if he can't get them going there. They do have 5. They probably need one more car, but we talked about going on board with them. So we could go on board with him on the highway on a board camera here. And you can see a lot of gaps in here from his point of view between the cars. They're not right up to each other. So like we were saying, they need to form up just a little bit more, gain one more car. If one of these bottom guys was to come up with them, that would possibly get them by them.
Well, I did kind of want to throw this in here, and I know this is something that's really off the wall, but it's really early for these guys to be too aggressive. So you're probably not going to see too much side drafting. They're giving each other plenty of room out there on the track right now. And, you know, if you start getting over aggressive at this point of the race too early.
Contact the 30 car up upside down, end over end.
Uh-oh. There's
Number
a caution.
30, Gary Nichols.
Oh,
I was
boy.
sitting there watching the back bunch of cars, and Gary Nichols had a little bit of an incident. He's gone end over end, upside down, and taken his car straight to pit road.
Let's go back and take a look here, see what we can't find. And they were in their own little group here, so we'll see. Oh, there he is. Contact from the 20. He hooked him just a little bit. Thank goodness I didn't jinx David Applegate, as he narrowly avoids it. And it looks like the 32 was blinking during that. So he may be having some connection issues as well. Like you said, he is on pit road now. So first caution of the night comes at lap 11. Actually, lap 12. So, a little earlier than I thought, but it wasn't up here with the front guys. It was back in the back, so those guys in the back, like you were saying, Rudy, they may have kind of lost that draft, so they have to be a little bit more aggressive to try to get up there and get to the front.
Yes, sir. And one thing you got to remind yourself, though, is the bumper hook with these trucks is atrocious. It's just terrible. I don't know if there's anything that they could do to fix that in iRacing. I know they've tried to make it to where it's more realistic, because it does happen in real life. But, you know, I think it's kind of like at the extreme. If you even brush the back of somebody's truck, it just spins them around. And that's just exactly what we've seen right there. I mean, they were just really, really close to one another. It's very, very difficult to get to the bumper of somebody to actually do that. And it happens.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for him. And I did there during the replay, I did see him blinks a little bit. So connection may have come into that play just a little bit for there. But like you said, just barely brush him and it goes around. It is unfortunate. But it does happen here. I don't expect to see anyone come down pit road. So we might grab an interview here. What do you say, KR? You want to grab last week's winner, see if we can't get him in here for a quick interview?
And as you mentioned it, it is done. We have Jeff Stabnow in here for an interview.
Jeff, oh, you're running.
I got you.
You're running in third right now. You always talk about you got your one win for 2 years. We were informed that was bogus from Rudy. You can get another win, so you're sitting in third. Do you think you have a shot here? Obviously, it's way early in the race to really be too assessing on it, but you definitely were mounting a charge there to try to get to the front just now.
Hey, it's Daytona. There's 31, 32 cars out here that got a shot, so we'll never say never on that one.
Well, that's definitely true. We were riding on board with you there right as the caution came out. But definitely you run in the new leader onboard cam. So a big shout out to them for jumping on board as a sponsor. So how does it feel to pick them up as a sponsor and be running that onboard cam here tonight?
Oh, I'll tell you what, new leader came on board with us last year. They sponsor our team and they are sponsor of the series, so they're huge. They're a big reason we can do a lot of the stuff that we're even doing with you guys. So having them on board again this year for the series and on my truck and on the onboard camera, it's just fantastic. I couldn't be happier.
Well, you're definitely, like I said, you're putting on a good run. Sitting currently in a third. That's going to put you on the inside. You were mounting a run on the outside as the lights are off, so we'll get you back up there. But does it change anything here?
No, I think, we've still got 65 laps to go, so I think right now it's just find a place where you're comfortable to run and don't push anything. If I got a chance to run out front, obviously that's more comfortable than running in between cars.
All right, well, we'll let you go here, KR. If you want to stick him back in his team channel, we will let him get ready because we're going green this time. Bye.
We sure are, and I'd like to point out that Gary Nichols, after taking a tow, took on a fast repair and is back out there. 1 lap down, though. He will have lost a lap due to the long tow time here.
Yeah, and with any luck, we may have another caution. If we do, he very well may get his lap back. But Rudy, since you are the veteran here, we'll give you the honors here of getting ready to count down that green for us.
All right. All right, this is a very quick green here, folks. As soon as that pace car dives onto pit road, they get almost an immediate green. Pace car's in, and there's the green. We're off and going here. The Northwest Truck Series at Daytona, the season opener here tonight.
Again, and I'm used to the dirt side of things. You know, you get the green flag and you're hammered down as fast as you can go. They're hammered down here, but these are like a restrictor plate. You can't do that as contact's made between the 95 and the 5.
And that may not be over yet. The 95's down there trying to get some side draft, and I don't know.
Yeah, he got some side fender instead of some side drafts, but somehow both of them managed to recover. Again, just showing you the skill. That was Josh Cushman and Brandon Peters that banging doors there, and it looks like they're about to do it again. That one would not have ended as pretty, as that would have been his back quarter panel.
Thomas Green, though, he was running up there. He looked like he coming out of 2 checked up for everyone making contact with him, and Thomas Green lost a lot of ground on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. Go ahead, Rudy.
I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like Bushman might be trying to get down there, get a little side draft off him, but when he gets a little too close like that, it kind of puts the scares in some of these guys. I see Jeff Stabnow just kind of almost went below the yellow line there for a second there to try to avoid that. You know, you can see out the side of your car, and when you do, you see somebody coming that close to you, it gets kind of scary at the speeds that they're reaching.
Yeah, and we've seen it happen before, and not saying the 5 did it, but I have seen it happen in plate racing like this. If you're going to get shoved down there, you would almost rather hit square on, bump them, and push them up a little bit, then get yourself below that yellow line, especially in a corner, because if you get below that yellow line, there's a really good chance you are going to come back sideways, and then you're going to take out you and about 10 other cars behind you.
It is definitely not something you want to be known for, is close racing, and every time someone gets close to you, you end up in a crash. Trust me, it is not a reputation you want, because then when it comes down to the final few laps, nobody's going to want to race with you. You're going to end up left out hung to dry.
Yeah, and therefore a split second, looked like Cushman was going to be your race leader. He was ahead. We'll see if he can pull ahead right there. Oh, contacts more made between the 29 and the 95. Again, that was Cushman and Walls, as Cushman will indeed lead that lap by probably, I wouldn't even say half a fender.
There's so many cars right here, especially the front. Looks like 6-7 cars deep, 2x2 here. They're all just getting for position right now, and we still have quite a few laps to go. We're only on lap 18 of 80.
Yeah, looking at our caution counter here, we've had 1 caution for 3 laps. 63 laps to go. We've had 1 lead change, and it changed right back here, and it looks like we probably have the second lead change right there as they cross the line, as Walls does lead 1 more lap. But this is not done by any means. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle. As long as nobody wrecks, we're going to see a huge battle between those probably front 8 cars that are still side by side.
Still side by side, several rows deep. The outside lane now losing a little bit of ground down the backstretch. And when one lane starts to lose momentum, you'll see drivers essentially jump ship, change lanes. And when lanes start changing suddenly, that's when you really got to start holding on to the steering wheel, because there's going to be an accident with sudden lane changes.
Yeah, and right as you say that, it seems like the outside lane is kind of fizzled out and everybody's going single file now. The question is, and again, we'll get the expert's opinion on this, who's done it more than both of us, and that is Rudy. How long are they going to stay single file? You know you don't want to press any issues yet. We're only on lap 20 of 80. We still have 60 laps to go. But around what lap are they going to start pressing the issues, getting 2 and 3 wide?
Well, what they're planning up right now is, you know, everybody's starting to think about their first round of pit stops. You know, that we haven't had, only had a few guys in the back that actually stopped. So You know, you want to be single file for that. There's going to be a lot of communication out there on the track as to when they're going to pit. They're about halfway through their fuel run, maybe a little less than halfway. They can get about 45 to 48 laps on the tank of fuel, but with the cautions and everything, we're probably looking at the first round of pit stops probably around lap 50. But they are, you know, everybody's out here being a little extra cautious right now. Once you have that first caution, it kind of throws a little bit of a mindset on everybody to be a little more careful. Now, what we were seeing up there a little bit ago with Cushman, that's actually kind of hurt him, because now he's back here, back in 9th place, but he is on the bottom line. Everybody knows that the shortest way around that track is on the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going to see a lot of single file.
And while you were talking about that, I was looking back here at John Ottenbacher, 16th place. He was up in the top 4 for a while. He's plumbed all the way back to 16th now. Oh, he has fallen back a ton of spots here, because he got, like you said, hung out to dry on that outside, and it has definitely hurt him as the 20's going around.
20 going around.
Somehow, I don't know how he managed to save that as best he did. He's going to take it to the road course now and doing a little mowing on the grass, but let's go back and take a look and see what happened to him. Yeah, he did a little grass mowing there while he took the road course as well, took a little chicane there, and then tried to mow the grass for him. Unfortunately, I think they've already mowed the grass, so I don't think they're going to be too happy with that, but looks like him, and I'm not sure who that was. Maybe the 12. No, wasn't the 12. Somebody was getting in him as well. Not sure exactly who it was that got into him as well, but somebody did make contact with him back there, the 20, and somebody else. Not sure exactly who that was. But it did bring out the caution. But I don't think anybody got major damage from that, so that is a plus for all these drivers. And surprisingly enough, all the cautions so far have happened up at the back of this field. We haven't seen any up the front, so that is very interesting that we haven't seen any multi-car wrecks, really, more than 2 anyway.
You know, we focused a little bit on that accident there, but right before that caution came out, Gerald Heffley had a tremendous moment going into turn 1, running side by side with another car. They made contact. Heffley entered turn 1 dead sideways, managed to save it and keep going.
Well, definitely a big shout out to him for doing that. It looks like we do have some people coming to pit road. It looks like the front of the field, the top 4 stayed out. Brightsman, Walls, Maines, and Stabnow did not pit. Everyone behind them is going to pit road. So this
pit road,
good.
Busy on pit road for sure. A lot of cars getting there. Some cars, you know, like we talked about in the practice race, you guys only get 1 reset, 1 fast repair. So who's had a little bit of bumper damage and not clicked off the fast repair, and then that fast repair repairs that minor bumper damage that they may have from bump drafting?
Yeah, definitely, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's unchecked. If you don't have a meatball flag or the black flag for damage, you definitely don't want to check that box. If you do, you fix 2 seconds worth of damage, when later in this race you may have 10 minutes worth of damage. You definitely want to save that for the big one, or at least for later on when you really might need it.
Oh, good news, guys. Gary Nichols gets back on the tail end of the lead lap. Now, he has not been to pit road yet. Well, yeah, he did. He did come to pit road. That's right. He used his...
he used his fast repair.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
So he'll be back at the tail end of the lead lap. Now, if you think about why some of these guys that did not pit up here in the front, 4 guys, they're banking on either the possibility of another caution, and why some of the guys that did stop, you've got to be on a different pit strategy. You've got to try different things. You know, if they pit now, they're still going to have to pit one more time. regardless. You know, I mean, this is going to be a one-stop race here tonight regardless. Some of them guys have pitted already. They're going to have to make another stop, so that's going to be 2 stops for them. But they are all out there on brand new tires, and let me tell you how much new tires is going to make these trucks feel better than the guys out there that stayed out for longer. It is a lot more easier to deal with in the draft like that, because there is a little bit of an aero push around these trucks. And once you get them older tires, you go into these corners, sometimes you have to lift off the gas.
Yeah, that's going to make it very interesting. And since we have 3 of our 4 drivers with onboard cameras here, looks like we're going to have Mark Walls starting in 3rd here for the restart, 3rd or 4th. We might go on board with him for the restart and see what it's like being in his shoes here for this restart, because it could get very hairy. Again, older tires, they're a little more worn out. If he spins them tires at all, that could play a factor into it too. You know, you bunch up the field right at the start of the race. Good news is, because it's this type of racing, these cars do take a little bit more to get power to them and get going full speed. So people have a little bit longer to check up on a track like this versus like Charlotte or something where it's going super quick, super fast. The gearing's different. But still, spinning those tires with worn out tires like that could play a factor.
Tires are a factor at this stage of the race. I would definitely for sure be looking for people who haven't pitted yet, be planning around the halfway mark. If a yellow were to come out somewhere around lap 40, everyone who hasn't pitted yet will be diving into pit road. Their strategy is probably at some point between the halfway, you know, when the caution comes out, anywhere around the halfway mark, that's when they'll make their pit stop.
Yeah, and that won't be coming up too fairly long from now, as we'll take a look at our cautions. It's our second caution for 7 laps. 55 laps to go. Again, lap 41 will be the halfway point when we complete that lap. So we've had 3 lead changes, 55 laps to go. We are really actually creeping up on the halfway point here in about 13 laps.
Getting closer to it with each lap around. Duh, KR, the laps count down. Well, I know that, but we are getting close to it. So you start thinking a little bit of how you want your strategy to play out. If you're up front, things are going to be a little bit different than if you're in the back. Most people in the back have pitted, have gotten some tires or whatever, and they're not too worried about, you know, this halfway mark. But the guys who haven't pitted, that is going to be the deciding factor for them. That's what they're going for. They're looking for this halfway mark.
Yeah, you are definitely right. Again, Jeff Stabnow here. We're going to go on board with him again with that new leader on board cam here for the restart. So, KR, if you want to get that going here, they're just about ready. Well, again, we're going to be on board with Jeff Stabnow, courtesy of the new leader on board camera.
Jeff is in the preferred lane, or my preferred lane, for starting these truck races here at Daytona. I love being on the outside. I get a great run, and I don't have to worry about trying to force the issue. But here we go, green flag in the air. Stabnow going to stick right there with the 46, 29, and 17. And it looks like that inside lane's getting a great run as the 29 of Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow start to pull away from the 3rd row. But these guys are going to start sucking back in. Be watching for that outside lane to try and form up and work together.
Yeah, and it's interesting here. I know they were, I think they were sponsored last year, if we heard correctly. You see wallsbeardco.com on the back of the car in front here and on the inside lane as we're still on board with Jeff Stabnow. So those two teammates there possibly, or at least just running the same sponsor there, helping them out. But the outside row right now is just not going. So with 2 cars, they need a few more than that if they want to get something working here.
Yeah, the 19 of Matt Henry, sorry, I looked away, thought I saw something. The 19 of Matt Henry is trying to get caught up to him. He's running flat out. He just can't do it, unable to tuck in behind them. He's got nobody to push him. There's a good example of how you can lose draft in a hurry. You got to have somebody in front of you, someone behind you to really make that work. So the 19 is doing a whole lot of hustling, but not got a lot to show for it yet.
Yeah, definitely. As you see, he's right now in what place is he in? 7th place. Keep an eye on him. It looks like he may catch him, but if he doesn't catch him and nobody groups up to work with him, he could be another one. Like we were talking about Ottenbacher, if we can find where he is at. He's
back in 27th.
Yeah, he 27th position, all because he lost the draft there. Nobody would work with him on the high side, and he fell from 4th to 27th. So if there was a hard luck award going on right now and the race ended right now, he would definitely probably get it. That is not where you want to be, and which we've seen so far here is these wrecks that have happened have been back here where he's at now. So he is in a very dangerous spot being back at the back of this field.
You know, Jason Hunt in the 12 machine, he is the lead car for this backpack, and he has got some damage to the front end of his truck. You know, when you're pushing a car, you may not know that they're damaged, and you may not know that you guys are going slower than everyone around you and or the cars in front of you. So Jason needs to communicate with the people around him, hey, I have some damage. I should not be the one pushing, or I should not be the one leading. I should be the one pushing.
Yeah, definitely. He said as the 20 is going to get below the line there. Did you see him get way out of shape? He manages to tuck it back in.
Wow.
That right there is how bad wrecks happen. Oop. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Rudy. What were you saying?
No, I just said that could have been really bad right there. He got really out of shape.
Yeah, it was. And it looks like Ottenbacher there got the 15 a little out of shape. But they did recover. He lifted those back tires right above the air and took the air off of him. And that almost spun him around, but he did lift and got it back under control. But not
as we watch Ottenbacher run in the high side in a group of 3, getting around the 96 and the 61 there. These guys, that group of 3 on the high side with the 15, 089, and 95 of Sherburne, Ottenbacher, and Cushman. And now they both, Cushman and Ottenbacher, dive to the inside. They're going to leave Sherburne on the high side, making a move there. This back row's got some, or this backpack has got some interesting shufflings going on.
Yeah, they look just like the front pack. They're 2 wide, 4 deep, but they're just way back right now, as they're kind of all over the place. Not a whole lot going on. So we almost watched the 8 and the 30 get together. The 61 is having a hard time holding this line right now. And that is Gerald Heffley. He is just literally taking up the top 2 lanes, which is making it very difficult for the 12 and the 30 to work with him right now.
Back up front, Mark Walls, Jeff Stabnow running 1 and 2. No pressure from the outside. The first 3 cars single file, and then 4th and 5th are side by side. So that is what the leaders want to see. There's a little bit of action to slow down the cars that aren't quite single file with everyone.
Yeah, and we noticed the 24 and the 29 were side by side earlier. They have now got right behind each other and are working with each other again. We know we've seen these 2 work with each other in practice. So if them 2 bumper to bumper, it could spell disaster for the rest of this field if those 2 do decide to stay together the entire race.
So the 19 is now the lead car on the outside, and the 19 of Matt Henry is doing a great job. And caution is out, and I have no idea what it's for.
Jason Hunt, Joseph Bissett back here spinning around.
A lot of cars there.
Ooh, big wreck up front while everyone checked up as well.
We will have to go back and take a look at that one as well.
Ooh, 1 airborne sideways through the grass now.
Let's go back and we'll see what initiated this one back here with the 12. Oh, never mind. It looked like there was a car flipping. Yeah, it was a 95, I believe. No, Jason, yeah, you said Joseph Bissett, the 96. David.
Yeah.
A bunch of them. Jason Hunt getting in. So a lot of guys getting involved there. As you see guys in the dirt now making jumps. I'm not sure who that was. That was the 16 of Kip Leo. He actually went through the grass and launched off of a dirt hill in the grass. And he has a lot of damage. So let's go back again and look and see what happened to him just a little bit further back. There it is. Like you said, everybody checking up to avoid hitting the pace car, which they couldn't hit anyway, but they were trying to avoid each other. You watch the 16 get a ton of air. And coming off, when he came off of that hill, hitting the ground actually damaged his truck. So that truck has a ton of damage now. That is a 16 of Kip Leo.
You know, that would definitely be something that race admin might want to let drivers know before the next race. Hey guys, no reason to check up so hard to stay behind the pace car. Slow down to a reasonable pace. Let the pace car catch up to you. You can go through the pace car here in iRacing. So I think that was just a little bit of a mental breakdown for the front running trucks when they saw that pace car.
Yeah, definitely. I have never seen that happen before, to see everyone check up so hard. I know, Rudy, you do a lot of asphalt racing. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, not under caution. I mean, you got to check up, but not, just lift off the throttle. And some guys, they kind of go to extreme. They don't want to get involved in any crash or anything, so they may check up a little harder than somebody. But it's kind of it's depending on the driver. How used to. Maybe they had a scare once before and almost got into somebody or something. But boy, bad pit stop for Mark Walls tonight.
Yeah, definitely. He has fallen back there.
Yeah.
And I guess
the leaders all finally did pit, so everybody's got 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, and they're ready to go to the end. Now, we did have, I believe there was about 5 or 6 drivers that did stay out because they had just pitted on that last caution. So
yeah, this could be interesting here. It looks like we do have another lap here. We're going to pull Kip Leo in here, see if we can't get a copy, see what it was like to get some air there. Kip, Leo, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, first off, we not sure what happened there. Everybody checking up there for that race, or for that caution when the pace car just popped out there out of nowhere. But all that aside, looked like you did a little rally racing in the infield there. Got some major air. So what happened to get you that air there?
Yeah, I'm not hearing you very well. I'm sorry.
Oh, we were just saying you got some air. We'll have to get you in here later on if we can get you in. But, yeah, running through the infield, so that was unfortunate. It looked like it got you some damage.
Yeah, I probably do.
All right, well, we'll get you back up there so you can get to any race control stuff you need to hear. Obviously, can't hear us over the car. It is pretty loud in there, so hopefully you can get that damage fixed, and we'll see you possibly in the top 3 in the interview later on tonight.
Yeah, 10-4.
All right, well, that is unfortunate there. Obviously, that car is very loud for him, so he can't hear over it. But we are getting ready to get the green flag here in a minute. We're 4 laps away from halfway. Right now, Walls has led 23. Brightsman has led 9. Matt Henry has led 2 laps now. That is his first time to lead some laps, and Cushman had only led that 1 lap that he squeezed out just barely. But he did lead 1 lap, so he'll get a bonus point for that, I'm sure. But Matt Henry, to both of you, we have not talked about him. Really hasn't even been on the radar except for when we were talking about him a second ago, talking about him possibly losing the draft. Here he is now, the race leader.
Matt Henry doing a great job of recovering some what we would call track position. In fact, he's done such a good job at it that the pace car is the only thing he sees right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's like we were talking about. It's plate racing. It's totally different than any other form of racing here, and it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you stay on the lead lap, you don't lose the draft. Anything is possible. He was in jeopardy of losing it. Kind of got hung out to dry. Now he's the leader, and he's getting ready to start these guys. Restart of this race.
That he is. He's got the inside lane. He's got the Andy Voigt and the 10 right behind him. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, Andy's going to be a fierce competitor, I know. For sure, I do look to see him be a contender here. We've seen all these guys practice earlier today, and all of them very quick. All of them right now in the 46s once we get the draft going, as it looks like we are about to, as the lights are off on the pace car once again. For anyone just tuning in, this is the Northwest Truck Series presented by Sanctuary Studios.
The lights are out on the Ford Mustang iRacing pace car. Not sure why it's got to be a Mustang. As a Chevy fan, I don't like it. But here we go. Green flag in the air. Matt Henry getting a good jump. Andy Voigt going to have to push Henry out front there. Try and clear as many cars as they can. Make sure that you guys get it through the gears cleanly and fast. You don't want to miss a shift or over rev the engine, possibly blow the thing up.
And too, someone we haven't talked about here, the 35, Christopher White, or Chris Wright. We have not talked about him hardly at all tonight, but he is now up to 4th position, and he's pushing. Looks like that is indeed the 02, Trenton Barrington. He is pushing him, trying to get him to the lead. They've got the 5 right behind him, Brandon Peters, along with the 30 right behind them. So that is Gary Nichols. So Gary Nichols, again, I believe he was one that got into the wall, got his lap back, and now look at him up in 9th position.
Third, Christopher White did come from 25th position and is up here in 4th now. So probably the biggest mover out there right now. That's picking up 21 positions. That's a huge gain, but that's super speedway racing. You can go from 0 to hero in 1 lap, or 0 to 0. 0 to hero or hero to 0. Yeah, in 1 lap.
And it's so amazing to watch these guys go from front to back to front to back all over, all throughout the race. As the 2's going to try
to go 3 wide.
And there he goes. Hits the 10.
Oh boy, everybody's dodging that one.
It looked like, again, we watched that live, the 02 clipping the 10, and there he is, just spins him around. So let's take another look.
Multiple cars unable to get through that, even as cars in the back. I saw 3 cars that were even just trying to slow down from the back get caught up in this. Nobody was safe.
He tried to make it 3 wide right there. Gets the 10, spins him, collects the 35, who we just talked about too. And the 10's almost going to flip it over, as he's going to get hit again several times. There, once again getting hit in the rear. And the 78 hit him twice. So that is unfortunate. Again, the biggest unfortunate one is Christopher White. He's still being shown in 3rd position, but working his way, like you said, what you say, 25th to 4th, sitting in 3rd, but he has got a ton of damage to that car now.
He does, but you know, something that I find very interesting, I'm looking at the 24 machine of Jeff Stabnow, caught in the middle of all that. Not a scratch on that car. This is the guy I voted for. This is the one I put all my eggs in the basket. He managed to get through that without a scratch.
Yeah, that is definitely impressive that he can squeeze through that without any, as somebody is smoking in front of him pretty good. Rudy, you're the expert here. Oh, he's going to fake it to pit road there. But Rudy is the expert here, I would say, as far as asphalt racing. I would imagine nobody's going to come to pit road unless they have damage. As far as just for tires or fuel, do you think anybody's going to come to pit road right now?
Well, there's a lot of them already, have come to pit road. They've got a lot of these guys have got a little bit of damage. They want to get it checked out. They may uncheck their fast repair. But we've got a lot of guys that are damaged that are going to have to use that repair. So Andy Voigt, definitely one of them. That car was smoking really bad coming to pit road. Mark Wall's on pit road. We've got a lot of guys that were top runners, and they got to get it checked out. Andy Voigt does come off of pit road with a brand new truck, so everything's good to go there. And he'll be back in 17th now after being one of the front runners, and he didn't get a chance to lead a lap, but he was real close. And I think if he wouldn't have got hooked there, he probably would have led a lap. But he'll be good to go.
Yeah, and I was looking here watching Sean Breitzman. He's in second right now, but he's going to have to come to pit road. There's no question about it. He is spraying for mosquitoes down on the apron right now. If he doesn't come, I'm not too sure how much longer that truck's going to survive. It looks like it's on the backstretch now, so it'll be questionable if that truck will even make it to pit road.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate that a lot of guys got caught up into that, but that's the way, that's the product of super speedway racing. When you're doing, close to 200 miles an hour and you're just inches away from somebody, there's no time to check up. And that's why I always said when I see a few cars that are running back about 4 or 5 seconds behind that lead pack, those guys, I always call that like a buffer zone. They're keeping themselves that distance. So in case there is something up there that happens, they've got time to check up and dodge the major accident and everything. But most of these guys were involved in it right up there because it happened right in the front.
The downside, really, to what you're talking about, though, Rudy, is every driver needs to have their eyes up, needs to be scanning the horizon, looking out in front of them. But just because you're looking out in front and you see an accident coming, when you check up, that doesn't mean the guy behind you sees it. Countless times we'll see cars check up for an accident 3-4 cars deep. They're not checking up. They didn't have a chance to see it. So anything can happen here, and tonight's a good example of it, as we just watched a big accident develop in the front, but cars all the way to the back were still having to dodge, still getting caught up in it.
Well, one of the things I've always said, in super speedway racing, it takes a full round of everybody being able to communicate out there. Communication is number one key. If you see something, because like you just said, you're riding right behind somebody, you can't see what's going on up ahead of them because you can't see through that truck right ahead of you. And if something does happen, you need somebody to communicate that. Check up, or yell to you, hey, there's a wreck up ahead or something like that, So communication, I always say at a super speedway, is number one key.
Yeah, I was just checking in. It looks like the O2, the one that initiated all this, got his fast repair done, and it'll be interesting to see. He is on the lead lap still, so he stands a chance that he still could be back up at the front later in this race. But I am no expert on the asphalt side of things, but it seemed like trying to make that 3 wide here when we're just now 3 laps over halfway, probably a bit too early for trying to push the 3 wide. But I would imagine, and Rudy, you can confirm this or deny it for us, with over halfway done here in the next probably 15 or 20 laps, we may see people starting to make a few more gutsy calls.
Oh yeah, definitely, and you can't really blame who was that? The O2
Trenton.
You said Trenton Barrington. Here's the thing about super speedway racing: when you're out there doing that speed and something like that happens, you don't want to really back off the gas because then you're going to stack them up behind you and could cause a wreck behind you. So, with that being said, he did kind of stick the nose in underneath Andy Voigt there. And Andy probably didn't know that he had that nose underneath him, and I don't think it was for the purpose of passing him more than it was he just didn't want to have to slow up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it didn't look like he was trying to pass, and he very well just could have been trying to get out there and get some clean air. And in the process, just hooked him a little bit. So, I mean, it didn't necessarily look like he was trying to pass him, but it did make it 3 wide, and that does happen. The green flag is now out, so we're back racing again. Again, decent start here. Everyone getting up to speed. At the 15, Chris Sherburne got a decent-sized lead, but that doesn't matter. He's going to get reeled in pretty quickly.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier in the race about Joshua Cushman. Cushman dropping, lost a lot of spots there as he was in the first part of the race up front. In the middle part, he kind of lost some spots, and now here he is back up front in the 95 machine.
Yeah, definitely he is moving forward once again, and that's what he's got to do. You got to rebound from all this, as we're going to make it 3 wide again with Cushman here. Cushman, there they go, back into the wall. Caution is out.
The 30 car in trouble collecting the 61.
There are multiple car wrecks happening. There's a caution at the front, a caution in the back. Let's go back and take a look up front. There are just wrecks happening everywhere right now. Right there, you see the 95. Looks like he's going to do it. Collects the 49. They go around collecting a few other cars with them. And you said the 30 getting in this, as we have. There it is, the 30 going around as well. So the caution started in the back. They've moved to the front, and now they're at the front and the back at the moment. So wrecks happening everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely turning into a bit of a hard to get going here. We're turning a few laps and the yellow comes out. This time we really didn't even get a full lap in. The trucks weren't all the way up to speed, and drivers starting to feel the crunch. You know, as you get more yellows, you start to run out of time, and you start to think, okay, I have to make these moves right now before the yellow comes out. So you're feeling the pressure. You're trying to do everything you can to pass them right away, and you just start to make little mistakes. Everyone starts to ramp up their pressure. They want to pass somebody. They want to do all this and that because they fear another yellow is going to come out, and they're not going to have that many. They're going to be short those laps to try and pass somebody. So cautions breed cautions because drivers start to feel the crunch of it.
Yeah. Like you said, that's our 5th caution, so still only 40 laps out of 40, or 15 laps out of 46 that we're on right now. But 35 laps to go. We're over halfway done with this race, and that was the 2nd caution that has been for cars being 3 wide up at the front. Again, not sure if they were actually trying to make a pass or just trying to get some clean air. But it's the 2nd time we've had a car get hooked up at the front when they were 3 wide. So it's going to make it very interesting as we get in the closing laps, if that's going to be an issue, if they're going to try to make it 3 wide again. But what I'm kind of interested too is Jeff Stabnow. 35 laps to go. Here he is sitting in 2nd place still. He very well could have given himself a top 3 or another win. So he may have been fibbing us a little bit, like Rudy said, about not being able to get a win but once every 2 years.
You know, Jeff Stabnow really is impressing me right now. That 2 cautions ago, he was running around 20th spot when Andy Voigt and the leaders there in that incident all got caught up. Jeff managed to work his way through that incident, and I think he started 10th. Now, once again, cars crashed in front of him, and he has methodically worked his way around the crashes, kept his nose clean, and now he's sitting 2nd. He's going to be starting on the front row outside.
Yeah, and only 2 cars are technically out of this race that have taken it behind the wall. That is Thomas Green and Ricky Bozer. There are several cars still on pit road, including Ryan Maines, Gary Nichols, again, 30, got all the way back up to the front. He's back 2 laps down on pit road. Brandon Peters, Jason Hunt, Gerald Heffley, and Braden Cornell all on pit road right now getting damages fixed. So currently have, it looks like 23 cars on the racing surface.
We got the cars that are on the racing surface, and you know, we got the race is wearing on. Cars are starting to go a lap down, and some of these lap down cars are laps down because they've taken damage. So now you've used your fast repair and you're in another big wreck, but you're able to keep going. So you stop in your pit stall, you fix what you can, but now your car is no longer 100%. So these guys that are a couple laps down are really going to be struggling to maintain a full race pace. And so the leader's going to be catching them that much faster. Could be a potential incident when the leaders come around to lap these guys with damage.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see as we see our pole sitter, Mark Walls, is sitting back in 15th right now. So he has got his work cut out for him. He is on the lead lap, but again, all the way back in 15th position right now as we're riding on board with him, again, courtesy of new leader onboard Cam. From 1st to 15th. It looks like 14th now. Not saying he's out of this by any means, but he definitely has his work cut out for him.
You know, Mark Walls has got Walls Beard Co. on his front windshield there and on the back bumper. And you just got to wonder if he's got an epic beard or not, because I've never seen this guy without a helmet on.
Yeah, that is indeed. I know he is the owner of that company and sells beard products all over the U.S. I do believe he does have a website for that, obviously. It's wallsbeardco.com, so definitely check it out. If you got a beard, I think you'll get with some great products, I'm sure.
I do.
But there you go. We might get a customer for him, but definitely would be kind of cool. Maybe he'll send in a driver photo here in the next little bit. Again, you will see driver photos up on the overlays for anyone that's new here. Those are the actual drivers here. They send in their photos. Even for the drivers out there, if you're watching this later on, definitely send those in. We'll get them in there so you can see yourself on the overlays. But it looks like lights are off, so we're going to get the green flag this time by.
The pace car lights are out. Chris Sherburne is going to be in control of the field here, but I really like Jeff Stabnow sitting on that front row outside. If he can get a good shove from the 26 of Ray Forner, who Ray has been a lap down in this event, and now he's sitting fourth. How about that?
Yeah, Tuna, very good job. Like you said, green is out. Yeah, Ray Forner. He is fourth place, and he's doing a very good job in the number 26 machine. I'm sure there's a little gap right now. Everyone will kind of catch back up. You definitely know right now out front, Jeff Stabnow, he wants him to get up there and see if he can push him. If he can, that will mean Stabnow has led his first lap. But it looks like the 26 is going to leave him high and dry now on the outside. But not for long. Here comes the 69 of Sean Freeberg. He's going to get up there and see if he can't push him up. And the 26 is going to join him. Now they're going to leave the 15 high and dry.
You know, just real quick, a couple things. The 10 machine of Andy Vogt is up front once again. We saw him in that accident, but he has managed to work his way to the front. So great driving on his part to recover quickly. But I would like to point out how many cars quickly lined up behind Jeff Stabnow and pushed him on the outside as he dropped down into the front there in front of the 15, hugged that inside line as soon as he had him cleared. But to me, it's definitely a sign of respect when you're on the outside lane and 3-4 cars will jump to the outside lane to help push you and abandon the inside to make that pass, because that's what we just saw.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, he is the owner of this league. He's leading the race. We always give him crap about it, but like you're saying, it shows right there. He made a move, and people followed him. And that, again, shows the signs of a good leader in general, you know, especially when you're in a race like this. But the fact that he is the league owner and that people respect him and trust him enough to make that move with him. As it looks like the 8 car is down low. He's going to stay out of harm's way. But he did drop down in front of the 15, which you don't blame him. That's what you do. You go up there, you get the lead, and then you drop down and retain that lead, as he has now led his second lap. So he's in our top 5 drivers that have led laps here. So a good job for him. And you never know, we're closing in on, we're now on lap 51. So we have 30 laps to go. He may be a winner here tonight.
He just might. Rudy's pick of John Ottenbacher getting ready to go a lap down there, as he's on the outside and he's got damage. So like I said, cars with damage now starting to be a factor into this race.
Yeah, as he is now 1 lap down. And another one I was looking in here, as we'll take a look at him, Sean Brightsman in the 46. We saw him barely make it to pit road. He was smoking and spraying for mosquitoes out there. He has now used his fast repair, sitting in 13th right now. He was all the way up to about 7th at one point, as they're making it 3 wide back here, back for around 10th place. They're going to shuffle it out, so he very well could make his way back up to the front once again.
Fighting back is all you can think about when you've lost ground, and Sean Brightsman doing a great job of fighting back. This has definitely been a race of people going forward and backwards and forward and backwards, as we get the 17 car getting a lap here, as he's going to hold to the outside. The field is going to pass him by. Always a hairy moment when a lap car is caught up as fast as these guys are going.
Yeah, definitely, and it's unfortunate because with plate racing like this, these super speedways, you saw how fast they passed him, and they moved by him so fast, he has no chance at all of tagging onto the back of that field and trying to hang on there and be 1 lap down and get a lap back, because here in probably 5 laps, as you can see, he's not even on the screen anymore. They are just going to take off and pretty much leave him behind.
Goodbye, see you later. This outside lane, though, I'm watching it here, the 28, 69, 26. These guys are wiggling really, really bad, trying to stay in line. They haven't quite learned that you just run your line. And these guys are snaking around, and it's costing them time while they're doing the snake.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure how. Like I said, they are not seeing them there. It's almost the 35 and 26 almost get together there. There for a split second, I thought the 28. Again, that is Corey Walters. Another one we haven't talked about hardly at all tonight. He's up in the front, and he just led his first lap of the race. So somehow they are making it work, as now it looks like we're going to have the 46, and I believe that's the 02, and I believe that's the 53 getting in it.
The 26-69 almost get together. The 26 wisely backed out of it. Ray Fortner backed out of it, did not hook the 69 like we've seen several times tonight. So good decision there by Ray.
Yeah, and while we're watching that, the 29 Mark Walls, again, we were talking about a second ago, moving his way back through the field. He abandoned that top line. He went down to the bottom, which is where his teammate, the 24, is. And you'll see the 89 Ottenbacher. He is 1 lap down, but he did get into that bottom line, so he's going to stay in this group with that damage. The question is, if he's got all that damage on that truck and he's on that bottom line, will it help that outside lane get a little bit of momentum? Because you're only going to have really 4 cars there, 5 cars, without damage up at the front.
You know, John is in a perfect spot. He's got a truck in front of him. He's got a truck behind him. And his damage is minimal in the fact that it is not affecting his draft when he has someone in front and behind him. He's able to keep up. So as long as he's got the push and a pull, I think John's going to be just fine. If we get another yellow, he'll be the first car 1 lap down, get pulled around, and start again on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they're actually passing another lap car. Ow! The 53 clipping. I don't know who that was.
14 of Mike Peterson.
Yeah, he clipped him there. It looked like, I'm not 100% sure, but it did look like he smacked him there just a little bit. As now they're going to pass by the 5 of Brandon Peters, who's also a lap down. He's going to scrape the wall, but everyone will get by him just fine as he's still scraping it. But this outside lane, again, just has not formed up like they need to. and that is good news for Jeff Stabnow, as we are now on lap 57. Right there will be 58 laps, 57 completed on 58, 23 laps to go, and he is out front. And right now, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get by him. But again, we have plenty of laps for anything to change.
We sure do. Real quick mention, Jason Hunt, Tom Green, Ricky Bozer, they all have packed up, gone home early. And, we got Brad Cornell still, I believe, sitting on pit road. I don't know if he's repairing damage, what he's trying to do, but he's been on pit road for 23 laps now.
Yeah, he has been there for 29 minutes. So that is unfortunate that he has been there that long. That's definitely going to put him, like you said, 24 laps down now. But the guys out on the track right now, they're not concerned with it. They're out front, and this is a huge pack up here at the front. As we'll take a look here at a different angle so you can see just how many cars are still up there. We have about 15 cars in this group, maybe even more than that, maybe around 20. And they don't really have any inklings of slowing down. They're just trucking right ahead here, as this time by will start lap 60.
Lap 60, meaning, let me do some math. Oh, and the 30 is just blown up. I think the 30 is just blown up of Gary Nichols as he's pulled in the inside.
Yeah, he has no smoke, and he is definitely losing power here as he's down to 90, 80, 70 miles an hour. Not sure. I don't think he's going to make it. He is going to have to tow to pit road. As there goes some car. He is indefinitely... There he is. He is off the track towing, so he is not going to bring out a caution as we're going to keep trucking forward. And we got another lap car here, and they're trying to make it 3 wide for a second, but I'm not sure if that's a smart idea. They got the 96 coming by. I'm not sure. That is Joseph Bissett, who is right now 3 laps down. He's going to hang it to the high side and let everybody by him.
So, like I said, with all these cars getting this damage, and they're going to lose the draft, they're going to fall behind and be sucked up by the pack at some point. And with this long green flag run that we have, we're seeing that, and these damaged cars are taken to the high side, and it's really putting a squeeze on this outside lane, which then the outside lane is now squeezing the inside lane. So things get very interesting when these damaged lap cars get sucked up.
Yeah, definitely, and still yet to see the outside lane do a whole lot. It goes to show you, it looks like possibly our leader, Jeff Stabnow, in that 24 has a very fast truck. He pulled those guys to the front, and as soon as he ducked down in front of the 15 to lead the race, that outside lane has had no really forward momentum. And they have 6 cars there behind them, so they should be right there with them, able to keep up with them, and they're just not able to do it right now.
No, and one of the things that I'm seeing is each and every driver in that outside lane is trying to follow the car in front of them instead of just running their line and running a consistent line. And so they end up snaking, and when you snake, you're catching more air, and as you catch more air, you get more drag, and it just costs you inches on the track compared to the inside line.
Yeah, and what was it, 2 laps ago, we were talking about the 17 of Ryan Maines, and there he is going yet another lap down to go 5. So we talked about it. They caught him, and they caught him very quickly within 2 or 3 laps. And that is it's gonna keep happening as long as we don't have a caution and he can get back to the pack and get some damage repaired.
Yeah, and just would like to report in from the pits that Brad Cornell has packed it up, and he has decided to call it a night.
That is unfortunate that he had to end it here early tonight. 32 cars started the race, and it looks like at last count we have 26 still on track, so the majority of this array of cars are still on the track.
We do. We got quite a full field. The 14 here going another lap down. Contact 69 in trouble. Don Freeberg, cars going down pit road.
Oh, and they definitely are. Let's go back and take a look.
John Freeberg, the 26, is in trouble there as well.
And that was multiple cars going around there. We'll take a look. And that was some of your front runners right there. See what happened to these guys. Oh, a lap car was there. Oh, didn't have anything to do with the 28 going around. The 53, the 23. Several cars going around. The 69, the 26. Multiple cars getting damaged. So a lot of cars getting damaged there as we go back up to live. This could change things here. We'll take a look here now. 17 laps to go. We're under 20 laps to go. Looks like we'll be at about probably 15 or 14 laps when we get the green flag again, as Jeff Sabnow still out front.
Jeff is out front, and you know, when you're running as good and as fast as Jeff is, these yellows, you don't want to see them, but it does allow you to catch your breath, maybe look around you and say, okay, I'm doing this really well. You get a chance to reevaluate what you're doing. But the same goes for, Chris Sherburne, who's been pushing Jeff Stabnow for several laps. So, this has allowed Chris an opportunity to start on the outside row. And you're looking for Chris to try and take advantage of this. So instead of pushing Jeff, he's now going to be on the outside and going to have to try and side draft him.
Yeah, and it looks like here we'll see. I don't know if anyone's going to pit or not. We'll see if we'll get Chris White in here. We'll pull him down real fast and see if he's got any strategies he wants to divulge to try to get by that 24 and 15.
Chris White, are you there?
Oh,
Chris White, this is the broadcast booth. Are you there?
I'm here.
Mr. White, how you doing?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you.
Well, we don't want to hold you too long, but unfortunately, he got that car going on. You can't hear us. And if you can hear us at all here, do you have any strategy for Jeff Stabnow? He's out front. We have seen you go back and forth here. You're back up at the front once again. You started 25th and worked your way all the way back up to 3rd. Do you have any secret weapons you're going to unleash on the front of this field to try to get the win here tonight?
The strategy is one thing. It's tough out here. Your nerves are on edge. You just really don't know what to do. It's probably going to come down to the last couple laps. The 15's in front of me. It may come down to me working with him to take on the 24.
Well, we'll definitely be looking for you here in the closing laps, see what happens, and hopefully we'll see you in the booth, but we'll get you back up to there so you can work with your teammates and whoever you need to for this race. So, again, hopefully we'll see you in the booth after the race.
Well, I look forward to it. It's been a lot of fun out here.
All right. Again, that was Chris White here as we're running on board with him. It looks like the lights are still on in the pace truck here. So for this green flag restart, well, we'll run on board with him and see what he can do. We'll see. I'll go a lap or two with him. Again, I don't see anybody pitting. As you look at the top 6 drivers right now, Jeff Stabnow, 30 laps on his tires. Chris Sherburne, 31. Chris White, 25. Steve Shillad, or hopefully Shilstad, hopefully we get that right, 25. David Applegate up in 5th place. We talked about him. We haven't talked about him a whole lot during the race. He is up at the front. My pick for the race. 21 laps on his tires. David Heath, 32. Everybody behind them nearly 1, 2, 3 laps. Some of them with 16, 19. But for the most part, much fresher tires. But again, we might go here. Let's go on board with David Applegate here, back in 5th position. We talked about him, so hopefully I did not jinx him. He is my pick to win this race, running that number 23 Intel truck here tonight. And he has worked his way. I believe he started back in 30th, I believe it was, 30th or 31st. And now he is up to 5th, so what an improvement for him tonight. I don't even think he qualified.
David Applegate did not turn a qualifying time. Started 31st, like you said. Now he's 5th. But while we're talking about that, looks like the lights have gone out on the pace car. And you know what's really hard is coming from the dirt. When we're in the dirt, we say pace truck. Here on the asphalt, it's a pace car, and it's a Ford Mustang. Oh, man, why is it got to be a Ford Mustang? That thing's going to break down halfway through the race.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. You know, we might just have to get one of these Chevrolet pickups to be the pace car here, or pace truck in that case. Yeah, I'm a big Chevrolet fan myself, but hopefully it does maintain for the rest of the race, doesn't break down on us. At least on a positive note, it doesn't do what the monster truck dirt does, or pace truck, and drive over walls for people, as we have seen that done many times over at Lanier, I believe it is. It will just drive clean over a wall and do backflips and stuff. So we don't see that here. So hopefully it will stay running for us.
Yeah, hopefully it does. But Jeff Stabnow, my pick for the race winner. So far, it looks like I have picked the right one. But Rudy picked John Ottenbacher. He's gone through a rough night, and then your pick of David Applegate still up there, still, you know, like I said, top 5. So we got 2 or 3 bullets left in the broadcaster's predictions.
Yeah, and it looks like can't quite see the pace car again. We're running on board with David Applegate here. So as soon as the green flag goes, we're going to go silent for a minute, and we are going to crank it up for y'all on the board with David Applegate here. As there it is, green flag is out. So give us a lapper here. We're going to let you go on board with these drivers so you can see what it's like. Caution is out. Who did you say? Dana Rogers?
Dana Rogers and the 17 of Ryan Maines in trouble here on this restart.
All right, let's go back and take a look here, see what we can't find. Not sure. Looks like we may have missed it already there. So let's go back one more time here. There we go. We'll see what happens here. Oh, there. It's still back a little too far there. There, we're getting ready for the green flag here. What happened to Dana Rogers? There's the, oh, somebody didn't go. The 17 didn't go. And collected a bunch of cars. So again, the 17 did not go on the restart. That was Ryan Maines. Not sure what happened to him, but he is on pit road. But that car, or that truck, did not go with the rest of the field.
Yeah, the 17, not sure what happened. Don't know if he wasn't in position and was trying to get there. Didn't realize the green flag was coming out. Either way, big pile up as we were just going into the crank it up.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate as we are on lap 70 of 80. So looks like the lights are still on, so we're going to have a 9-lap shootout. So if you want to pull Jeff down here, we'll get one more interview with him now as he's going to be leading this pack to 9 to go. Jeff, you got a copy?
I got you there.
Well, second time getting you in here. Again, we're on board with you thanks to the new leader on board cam. But a little different time than last time we talked to you here. 9 laps to go, I believe it'll be when we get the green flag. Maybe 8, well, at least 9. Regardless, it's going to be a shootout here. Not very many laps left. do you have anything, any secrets you got up your sleeve that you're going to try to use here in these closing laps?
I've got no secrets. We're just going to push this new litter Chevy as hard as we can. I don't know that who I can work with up here yet or not, so we'll just kind of call it as it goes.
Well, definitely we've been seeing you work with the 29, but unfortunately I don't see him too close to you right now. Actually, not even on the track.
He's left the track, yeah. He got damaged there and blew up.
Well, that is unfortunate. We know you've been working with him, so I believe he is one of your teammates, so you don't have him to work with. But that could make it very interesting to hear. We still have 2 of our 3 picks here in this race. KR did pick you to win this race. I picked David Applegate, so with any luck we can get you both there in 1-2 and let you duke it out for the win. And we'll see who comes away, but it looks like we probably will see you in the top 3 at least, if nothing else, as the lights are still on the pace car, so we're going to go at least one more time here. Well, we got you here. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or a thank just for putting on a good race here for you tonight?
Oh, absolutely. The first and foremost, I got to thank KR for being smart enough to pick me. He's my favorite announcer now. Other than that, just thanking all the guys that came out, sponsors, Sanctuary Studios for sponsoring us, New Leader for helping us out here and putting their logo on the truck. So we're excited.
All right. Well, again, congrats on it being out front. For someone who said they don't win but once every 2 years, you sure are doing a good job of keeping it up front right now. But it looks like we probably going to have 8 laps to go when we get the green flag. So good luck, and hopefully we'll see you back in the booth here in a little bit.
All right, 10-4. Hope we can talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Jeff Stabnow, you heard it from him. I'm now the favorite. So, yeah.
Well, that's not good. I've only been here 2 races, and I'm already not the favorite, and it's been the same track, so that ain't good. We still have a long season to go.
That's all right. Maybe next week when you pick him and he wins again, you'll be the new favorite.
Well, I'm not his favorite now, so I'm not going to pick him now for sure. No, he's definitely putting up a good run here. It would be very interesting for someone to say they don't win often. We did find out that was total bogus from Rudy. He does win. If he wins, he'll be the points leader going forward here. I do believe anyway. I'm not sure how their points work. If they give bonus points for leading a lap and the most laps, he's borderline there. He's led 22 laps now. His teammate, Mark Walls, who was out of this race, led 23. Obviously, with 9 laps to go, there's nobody that can catch him. If he leads 2 laps, that's all he has to lead is 2 more laps. He'll clinch the most laps led here tonight. So, obviously, one of those is going to be under caution right here, as we're going to get the green flag with 8 laps to go. So, all he's got to do is really lead the first lap under green again once we get it, and he'll clinch the most laps led here.
Yep, just want to do a quick update. Sean Freeberg, Mark Walls, and Gary Nichols all have packed up and gone home. Too much damage to continue.
That is unfortunate. Hopefully, they are in chat with us here. We've got about 35 people here with us. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Please definitely hit that subscribe button if you like the racing here on MaxSpeedTV, as well as that like button. We got about 14 likes on it. Thanks for all those. And let's see if we can't get it up to at least 20 here tonight. Let these drivers know you like what they do here. This is probably the best truck league out there. Definitely the best that I broadcast. No offense to my own league. We are growing, but we are not on the level these guys are right now. But again, we're more of a short track league, so these guys run the big tracks, and we kind of get scared of those. We stick to the short tracks where truck racing used to start. With that being said, we are just about ready here, so KR, you want to do the honors?
Jeff Stabnow in control of the field, green flag in the air, and he's getting a good jump on the outside lane, and it looks like David Applegate is going to have his work cut out to hold off the 35 trying to tuck in. The 35 of Christopher White trying to side draft off of David Applegate as they dive into turn 1 now.
Yeah, everybody is going to the bottom. They're leaving the 35 of Chris White out to dry right now, and that is not good. He's up there, and to go from 25th to second right now, he definitely is putting in a good run, and he's getting some serious side draft, so he is not giving up without a fight. But again, the 23 Applegate, he went from 31st to second right now. Ooh, as the 35 barely squeezes that one in, getting in there.
Man, just give me a piece of paper width of clearance, and I'll stuff a truck in there. And you know what? That's what we just saw.
Yeah.
I love that kind of mentality. But
Yeah.
you don't want to do it too early. But as the race closes down, that's when you got to start really finding those tight little spaces and just kind of stuff it in there.
Yeah, definitely. And like we were talking about, Jeff Stabnow up there on the overlay, your leader right now, 24 laps led. He has officially led the most laps here, and with 7 laps to go, unless Mark Walls comes out of pit road right now, gets 5 laps back and leads this race, nobody can catch him. So he has clinched the most laps led here in the race. So regardless of what happens, it looks like he may have a good points night for leading the lap and the most lap led, if they award bonus points for that.
Yeah, and you got to give mad props to David Applegate. Like you said, he didn't turn a qualifying time, started 31st, and now he is sitting second place. Kept his nose clean almost all night, no issues. Slowly and methodically worked his way to the front.
Caution is out, and I'm not sure who that is. It's going to be the 28, the 45 getting collected of Corey Walters. Let's go back and take a quick look at that and see what happened. Sorry to cut you off there, but that was right in the end of our screen. Just barely caught it. It looks like they may have got into the wall together. Whoa.
Yeah, the 45 and the 28 just kind of gotten in a little bit of an argument over who was going to run where.
Yeah, it looked like the 45 may have come down just a little bit. But yeah, real estate is a precious commodity right now, and nobody's wanting to give it up. As it looks like those two are going to get into the outside wall and give them both damage.
Yeah, the 28 was kind of just following the car in front of him and not really looking off to his side, and the 28 came up while the 45 was coming down.
Yeah.
The 28 had all kinds of room to allow the 45 that movement, but, we're like I said, we're getting to the closing stages here. Drivers are focusing more and more on what's in front of them and not what's around them. They want to know what's in front, and they want to take advantage of every opportunity they can.
Yeah, and this is going to be close here. There were 6 laps to go when the caution came out. 5 to go right now. Typically, with 5 to go, we wouldn't see a green again here on asphalt. But that's on shorter tracks. Because it came out with 6 to go, technically, there is a chance, a very slim chance, we may have a 1-lap shootout here.
I think we're going to see at least a 1-lap shootout. We may get a green, white, and checkered situation. We're going to have to see how it plays out here. I'm not too sure how many laps we're going to get.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be very interesting. But I do believe 4 to go. The lights are still on, so minimum 3 to go as they come around. Looks like the 10's going to get a lap back here. But there is your leader, the 24, Jeff Stabnow. So he's sitting pretty right now in the front of this race. In the catbird seat, or roughly that's what it's called. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's late, 12:30, going on 1 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter at this point. But it doesn't matter. I don't care to stay. Like I do. I can't talk this late. But anyway, I don't care how late it is. 12:30, 1:30. It doesn't matter. This is some great truck racing going on. As these guys are putting on a heck of a show for everybody out there. So for all the, I believe we have about 40 fans or so here tuned in tonight, 36. For all of you out there tonight, definitely give yourself a round of applause and a pat on the back for tuning in with us here and hanging in with us here till almost 1 a.m. Central Time. A big shout out to all the fans, all these drivers that stick it out here. Of course, it's not as late for them. I believe they start at like 7 o'clock Pacific time, so it's a little later for us. It's like, what, 1:30 your time? But for all the fans that are here tonight tuning in, where it is late, tomorrow is Friday. Still a work day for some people, but it doesn't matter. It's racing. It's always a good day for race.
Man, I can't tell you how many nights, especially weekend nights, I was up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning because I was out at the racetrack, you know, and then you got to wash the car, you got to do all that. So this 12:30 stuff, this is easy. This is cakewalk.
Yeah, this is nothing. I know those late nights. The lights are still on, so I believe our prediction is right. It is going to be a one-lap shootout because we've had at least 2 laps under caution already. So next time by, it'll be 2 to go. So if the lights go out this next time by, we're going to have a one-lap shootout.
One-lap shootout is going to be interesting. And it's going to come down to, Jeff Stabnow is our current leader. Can he actually get a good start once again? But, with this drafting, you do not want to get such a good start that it allows the cars behind you to get a run on you. So Jeff has got to play this perfectly. He's got to set it just right to where the second row inside, is able to stick with him and give him a good push, or not allow him to get too far out ahead. So a lot of factors getting ready to play out here.
Yeah, definitely. And you see the 61 still ahead of the field, which kind of indicates, too, we are going to go racing again because they're going to give him a wave around. That is the 61 of Gerald Heffley. So, my predictions should be right. Hopefully, if my predictions are right and accurate anyway, we will see the lights go off here on the pace car. As just to be safe here, let's go on aboard here with Jeff Stabnow. We can see those lights on the pace car here, and if they do go off right here, so now we can't see them before the lap car. And there goes the lap car to go by, and they indeed are off. Next time by, green, one-lap shootout. This is going to be crazy for the finish of this race.
It sure is. Your pick is on the front row outside. My pick, front row inside. I'll tell you what, it's not just a battle between the drivers. It is now a battle between broadcaster predictions.
This is going to be crazy. We got the number 24, Jeff Stabnow, sponsored by a new leader. Again, they sponsored the team and this league. On the outside is David Applegate in the number 23, sponsored by Intel. My prediction, your prediction, is Jeff Stabnow. So this could get interesting. It's going to be who's faster, who gets the good push. So again, one-lap shootout. Again, for everybody in chat, thanks for hanging with us. This is why we do this. We had a few cautions, but it comes down to who gets the best start, who gets the best push, and who refuses to lose here tonight.
I'll tell you what, I picked Jeff Stabnow because he's really good at controlling his space. He's not going to be someone that's going to jump out to a tremendous lead, but this 35 car, Christopher White, he's hungry for a win. We got to do an interview with him. He was definitely talking about trying to win this thing. So any number of things are about ready to happen in this final one-lap shootout.
Yes, it is going to be interesting, and, we'll give you the honors here. 1 lap to go. We'll see who's going to come out on top.
Green flag in the air. Jeff Stabnow pulling away from the front row. 23, David Applegate. The 35 of Chris White. Gonna start. We got one smoking, but kept it straight. So now Christopher White starting to suck in on Jeff Stabnow, but the 23 of Applegate still on the outside, getting some help from Chris Sherburne.
Yeah, and no caution can come out. Nothing can end this race short of somebody winning it. As right now, the 35 of Christopher White is all over the back bumper of the 24, and they are going to duke it out here. Here comes Applegate on the outside with help from the 15 of Sherburne, and it's going to be a 2x2 car. That's how they started, 2 wide, and that's how they're going to finish here. As we're going to see who's going to come out on top, but it looks like it may be the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. As we'll see, they are right there coming up on the line now. This is going to get interesting. Bumping's happening. There it is. It's going to be a wreck at the end. Jeff Stabnow, David Applegate, and Christopher White are your top three. And there goes Stabnow doing some donuts, not of his own. Those were kind of forced on him.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an excitement there at the end of this race. So, man, what a finish.
That was definitely a finish, a one-lap shootout, as it looks like we do have everybody here in the booth with us. So finishing in third place was Chris White. So KR, if you want to grab him real fast, there he is. If you want to do a quick interview with him, we'll get ready for second place.
Chris White, final spot on the podium, finishing third. We got to talk to you under a caution, and your hunger for a win. You fall a little short of this race win, but the desire was not lacking. Give us a little bit of rundown of your race there and your final thoughts on it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty tight there at the end. We knew it was going to be exciting, pretty close. Just trying to hang on. Thought I was going to get him. Thought I was going to get second, but ended up third. It's a great run.
Well, you definitely did not disappoint. I was watching you there in that final one-lap shootout, and, it's definitely hard to, predict what's going to happen in these things, but you did a great job. You brought it home third. So any sponsors, people you'd like to thank?
Well, first of all, it's my first race with the series. I'm glad I found the series. Got in touch with Jeff. I got to thank him. Got to thank the guys that put on this series. I got to get familiar with the sponsors: New Leader Highway, Waltz Beer Company. Hope I'm not saying those wrong, but I got to thank all them for putting this series on. This was a lot of fun. I haven't had this much fun racing on iRacing in quite some time, and I really look forward to the season, the rest of the season.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the interviews with us, and congratulations on your first podium finish in your first race.
Appreciate it. Hope I can talk to you more.
All right, that was Christopher White, our third place finisher for tonight.
All right, coming in second place, David Applegate. First off, you were my pick for the win. You finished second, so I didn't jinx you. You did better this race. We didn't get to last race. I believe you got wrecked out a little early. Felt a little bad for picking you. Maybe I jinxed you, but it's not happening. You came in second here tonight. A good finish, a good points night for you for the first points night race. You came from 31st to second, probably the biggest mover of the night. So go through a summary of this race. What was it like working your way through that field here tonight?
Utterly and absolutely insane. Yeah, I started in the back. I didn't even bother turning a qualifying lap because I knew this is Daytona, and I knew if I was going to start somewhere, I'd probably be safest in the back. So I stayed back there for the first half of the race, and then I just decided it was time to go. So that's when I started moving up. And at least 3 times on my march up through the field, I barely threaded through the big one. So there's luck on my side this time.
Yeah, definitely you had some luck, obviously some skill to work your way through the field. Again, this is Daytona, so anything can happen here, and as we see, one-lap shootout, a couple of big wrecks, it can happen and will happen. But again, what a march through the field to come that far up, not even qualifying, just finish second place. It's going to be a good points night for you. I'm not 100% sure if there's bonus points or anything like that. Excuse me.
I don't even know about that. I want to be surprised.
But there you go. So we're not the only one that doesn't know. But overall, a good night for you. So any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that second place here tonight?
Well, first off, big thanks to Ryan Maines and Andy Vogt for helping me out through the last season and into this season, helping us put together setups that were fast. They had the fast cars at the front. I had the fast car at the end. So thanks to the team. And, of course, the Sanctuary Studios and Josh Cushman and guys for helping us sponsor this league. We had a great time running as teammates, in the league last year. And so we're just thankful so much to have such a great sponsor here on board helping us through this season. And Highway, the new leader, Wallace Beard Company, all the great guys that are helping us have fun out here. It's a great group of guys, sponsors, drivers, everything. It's so much fun to be here.
All right, well, again, congrats on second place and finishing just ahead of him by .044 seconds in victory lane here tonight. The driver who said he only wins once every 2 years and has done it twice in a row here, Jeff Stabnow. First off, I'm beginning to think you lied to us because this is your second win in a row. How does it feel to be once again back in victory lane, this time for points battle?
Oh, man, fantastic. Big field, good drivers here, so getting in victory lane, man, it's awesome.
Well, now, Jeff, I want to thank you for making me look like a brilliant statistician or status. You know what? I picked you. You won. Thank you.
My favorite announcer, KR, you just keep picking me. Maybe we got something going on here.
Well, he can't pick you next week because I already picked you, so. But overall, we're unsure, being that you do run this shindig here. Do you get bonus points for leading laps or the most laps? How does that work here tonight?
Yeah, Sean actually is the admin. He wasn't here last week, which is why I was kind of running it. But Sean does the admin. I'd have to confirm with him. But you do get a bonus point for a lap led, and you get a bonus points for most laps led. All
right. Well, again, Mark Wall's the only guy that could have caught you here. Again, out of the race, fortunately, 11 laps down. So you led a lap. You led 31. With 24, you clinched the most laps led. So that's definitely going to secure you into first place in the point standings. Unofficially, you never know. Race Control might want to go have a word with you. You might have been tired doping or something. But unofficially, you are the points leader here. So any sponsors and shout-outs you want to give for that win here tonight?
Obviously, once again, big shout-out to KR there. But no, this new leader Silverado was just awesome. So big shout-out New Leader Highway, Sanctuary Studios for sponsoring the series. Walls Beard Co., right there on the back of the truck. They're always there. They're always sponsoring us. Just big shout out to all the guys. David Applegate, what a run there. I didn't know how to play that. I was nervous as heck. So nice run by David. Chris White finishing in the top 3 in his first race with us. Sherburne top 5 in the ovals for a roadie. So just a great race.
Definitely was. 1 lap shootout. That was awesome here to finish the first points night, and I'm sure it's just going to get even better throughout the season. So I am definitely looking forward to it, as I'm sure KR is. But again, I've already picked you as my winner for next week, so he can't do that. We are not done just yet, folks. We still have some more business to take care of. Assuming KR, the favorite broadcaster, has not left the lobby yet. If you want to run through those unofficial race results for us, that would be fantastic there, KR.
I'll tell you what, the broadcasters are looking pretty smart tonight as we go 1 and 2. Jeff Stabnow, my pick. David Applegate, Mr. Charles's pick. Those guys finishing 1-2. Christopher White bringing up 3rd spot, the final spot on the podium. Great race by him, as we mentioned, our first race with him. Chris Sherburne, 4th. David Heath, 5th. And the surprise finish, who we didn't really get to talk about, John Ottenbacher, who was a lap down, damaged car. Look at that. Gonna bring it home 6th. And that was Rudy's pick. So Rudy picked a really good one. Ottenbacher having an up and down race, but when it came down to it, managed to pull off a decent finish. Joshua Cushman, 7th. Dan Stussy, hope I said that right, was 8th. Kip Leo, 9th, who we saw go airborne. Caught some air, put some wings on that guy because he was flying. Steve Selstad, 10th. Corey Walters, 11th. Sean Breitsman, 12th. Andy Vogt, 13th, who had an up and down night as well. Doug Hunt, 14th. Dana Rogers, 15th. Joseph Bissett, 16th. and I'm running out of air here.
I will get out for you then. 17th was, there we go, Trenton Barrington. I am to myself. 18th, Matt Henry. 19th, Mike Peterson. And rounding out your top 20, Carl Burke. 21st goes to Brandon Peters. 22nd, Ray Forner. 23rd, Mark Walls. 24th, Ryan Mays. And 25th, Sean Freeberg. 26th goes to Jason Swank. 27th goes to Gerald Heffley. 28th, Gary Nichols. 29th, Thomas Green. 30th, Jason Hunt. And 31st, I'm going to have to scroll for that one there, Brad Carnell. And 32nd, Ricky Bozer. So those guys are getting knocked out a little earlier than they wanted to here tonight. So that is unfortunate for them. But on the racing side of things and MaxSpeedTV, everybody wants to give a big shout out to all the sponsors. Obviously, Sanctuary Studios for presenting this race. Walt's Beard Co., New Leader, Highway for being a sponsor of the league. For those on-board cameras on the MaxSpeedTV side of things, we want to thank SimSpeedShop.com, HRE Motorsports, Elite 7 Racing, Virtual2Reality.tv, Dirt Co. Media House, and our newest sponsor, Ohio IndyCar League. If you are in the Ohio Club and want some great IndyCar racing, check them out. But that will do it here tonight for the Northwest Truck Series presented by Sanctuary Studios. So on behalf of Northwest Truck Series and MaxSpeedTV, we will see you at the next race next Thursday night for another great race.